Hello there, I'm Proxy. How do you do? This is the third video in our series here on building the Space Marines in the Warhammer 40k. We've got this start collecting set here, and yesterday we finished putting this guy together, glued him all up, and as you can see, there he is. I've now applied primer spray paint. I've done it completely black for today, and tomorrow I'm going to apply some silver. Obviously it's very difficult to see. Let me put this box back. Oh, doesn't seem to understand. Hey ho. So it's very difficult to see, but obviously it's very glossy as well in this light. So let me adjust the light a little bit. Look at that. Managed to preserve all the details and everything, and there's still some you can see through the back end of the ornament up here. And I made sure that I was holding him quite a distance away by using one of these lovely things. You can get this at most DIY stores when you go to buy some paints, and after I was done painting this house of ours, I had some of these sticks left over in the shed, so I brought one of them out, put some duct tape as you can see here, and managed to prop him on there, and holding a distance of roughly 30 centimeters away, gave it a good spray, and now he's got a nice glossy black coat for ready to be painted. Now my equipment that I ordered from China hasn't arrived, so I haven't been able to do any drilling into his gun barrel, which I hope doesn't count as a novice or an amateur thing to have left behind, but for now he looks pretty good. I'm not so sure if the gloss is that great. I hope that doesn't affect the final model when he's complete, but hey ho. For now, I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to build some more of the Space Marines. Now, let's have a look. So this was the instructions that we had for this fella here. These instructions, we used these yesterday. And now we're going to go through some of the books. In front of you here, you can see that I've got the Venerable Dreadnought build guide. But that is something that's going to be done for later. That's to come in one of the series near the end, and there's some stat sheets for the Dreadnought himself. So let's put this to the side for now. I'm not going to use that today. We are going to use these bad boys. Look at that. Space Marines Tactical Squad. So the Bannermen, Heavy Troopers, and assortment of troopers there. I had a good look through and tried to plan how I was going to go about building it, and unfortunately none of my tools arrived. I had to use my own hobby glue from just a local store, and aside from that I didn't have any cutting tools, so I had to use a Stanley knife sort of situation. One of these, and this one you can fold it out and take the cover off, and you can do some cutting with. So it took some tedious work, but I was able to do some cutting with this instead of actually using one of the Citadel ones which hadn't arrived. Aside from that, some good news. In a few days time, it's my birthday, so my sister offered to buy me something off of Amazon for roughly 80 quid, and I was like, hey, I have an idea. Why don't I buy myself a big army set? So looking online, I was able to find a deal for on elementgames.co.uk. Those are some fantastic guys, and there I was able to purchase for roughly £80 a whole Dark Imperium start collecting set, which has roughly 50 miniatures, and I thought that was quite a bargain. So I've given that an order, and that's on its way. Obviously with the world situation, it's going to be quite a while before that arrives, but that is something for the future. So when this is all complete and done, that Dark Imperium set with roughly 25 Space Marines and 25 Chaos Marines. That's going to be the follow-on from this series that we're doing with this set, just so you guys know. So if you have an interest in seeing some Chaos Marines and Plague Marines and some more Ultramarines, stay tuned, and in the future there's going to be some more videos. Plenty of content to go around. Now this book is obviously quite lengthy, so we're going to go through it with you. You guys are not going to miss anything. Every step of the way, from cutting these guys out of the sprues over there, all the way to building, how I'm going to go about it, following the instructions, so you guys get a real proxy view of how you would go about it, and hopefully get you guys into the hobby as well. I haven't seen any videos online of this sort of in-depth sort of thing, so you know, going from literally showing you guys every single piece in the sprues, cutting them out, using the instruction manuals to build your army, and then completing it with the paint. So every step of the way you guys get to see as I build it from the ground up. And I think this sort of deep dive sort of video series, it hasn't been done before, and I'm really looking forward to getting through this. And then when we complete this box set, we're going to move on to the Dark Imperium box set, and from there, I guess season by season, we're going to just add to it and see where we go. So thank you for coming here, and thank you for being here with me. Every single minute that you spend, I genuinely appreciate it. It's you know, I love it. So thank you for being here. So we've got some transfer sheets for the Ultramarines themselves. This is going to be what we're going to be affixing on the shoulder pads of these guys. For him, we haven't done anything because he's not quite ready. So when he's completely painted, we'll put some of these transfer sheets on. We're going to put this aside for now. And we've got the vehicle transport sheet. So this is the Dreadnoughts version of the transfer sheets. We're also going to put that aside. Now I've got some other bits and bobs you can see at the side of the table. As I was saying, that deliveries have been very delayed, but fortunately my Vallejo paint set has arrived. It's all coming in bits and bobs, you know, one bit at a time, never together. So my Vallejo paint set is here, so I'm very pleased about that. I can finally start doing something with this guy. And you know, I've got the Ultramarine sort of similar sort of blue. Obviously I'm not using the Citadel paints for my start. I figured I'd try some of these guys out, and Vallejo is the next best thing according to many recommendations. In here it seems to have some red color, purple, blue, which I assume I'm going to be using for the main of the Ultramarines. We've got some dark green. We've still got some sort of cream color here. I'm going to take these out in a minute. Dark brown, gold. So that will be for the shoulder pads area, emblem area. You know, all the emblems and all the motifs and the gold and the crown symbolisms and the eagles. We can do the gold with. I'm very pleased about that. We've also got silver here. We've got this sort of peach pink color, and if we mix some of the white and the red, we may be able to get some tone in between. So between the white and the red, we'll see how that goes. We've got another sort of orangey creamy color here, yellow, base yellow, white. We've got black. We've got also yellow ochre, some other color there. We've got light blue. That one I'm thinking of doing some dry brushing with, just to, you know, dry the brush off a little bit on some kitchen towel, which I've got in spades. So we're going to dry the brush off and then, you know, go Bob Ross on all the statues by flicking it up and down. And then we've got this sort of forest green on the end here. So really excited, and in the future we can start painting with our set of Vallejo paints. So I'm going to leave this over here. And also we were able to get the sort of shading and the skin tone. So from Citadel paints, there's the I think many of you might be familiar with Nuln oil, and I was looking for something that was something a little bit cheaper than the Citadel paints and easier to use. I was able to come across this. And this is the next best thing in recommendations in terms of uses, and some people actually swear by these paints more so than the Citadel oil washes and such like that. So as a first time painter, I wanted to try out the cheaper option, and I would definitely recommend this for your washes and shading and sort of in between bits. We've got dark tone, strong tone, soft tone. I think these are the ones that we're going to be using, and possibly light tone for the flesh face areas. See how that goes. Other side of the box, if you guys are interested, you can see sort of a general idea of what the tones end up looking like on this miniature figurine. So you got the reddish sort of look, blue, cold, frozen, cold area. So this would be ideal for frost walls, ice spacing and stuff like that. You've got a gargoyle green. You've got sort of a, I think this is the best one to be using for human's flesh. So that's got flesh wash. Got dark tones, that'll be for shading in the crevices, you know, the bits in the armpits of the armor and around the hips, the black sort of matting thing. If you've ever seen Halo, the Master Chief, he has a lot of black bits in between the green, so this would be the perfect sort of area for the sort of leather black areas of the joints in between massive armor pieces. Some other bits and bobs that you can have a look there. These are all the colors that we ended up having in this set. So really happy with this, glad that it's finally arrived. There's still some more equipment that I'm expecting, and hopefully that'll be along ASAP, but you guys know how it is with the global situation that we're in. Unfortunately it means that things are delayed and not arriving. Now I already talked about the spray painting, did I? I can't remember if I did it in this video, if I was I cut it out this take, but I'll just describe what this is. This is just a paint mixing stick. You put it in your paint tub and mix it up when you're doing some decorating and painting around the house. And loads of these left over, so I just put some duct tape on here, fix my miniature to it, and holding about 30 centimeters distance, I use the spray primer to spray him up, and there he is. I think it's quite a good look, but it's quite glossy, I would say. I hope the glossiness just comes from this light, and it doesn't have a adverse effect on the final product when he's completely painted. All the glue is not visible. Obviously, I'm very pleased about that. Although on the top there's a little bit of sort of smoothing, but I think I can get away with that. As a first-time painter, first time ever doing this. It's a learning process, and it's been a lot of fun, you know, doing this. So I'm quite pleased with how he's turned out. I'm quite pleased with the first primer base coating. So I'm going to leave him here, just to, you know, stand in the way. The dice is that I hope will always roll a 6 for me, fingers crossed. What other things do I have? Some other equipment that arrived. I've got an assortment of paintbrushes. Various sort of thickness and spread, so I can do some dry brushing, bob rossing, etc. And I actually got two types. So I got oh, box fell over. Put this away. Let's prop you back up. Stay. Thank you. So this is the other box of paints that I got. Let's have a look. Pull this away. Come on. Yeah, when you put so many things on top. There we go. So you can see the thickness of each bristle. I don't know if there's much point in putting a coin next to it for scale, but let's try a 20p piece that you guys might have at home. 20p piece in front of the brush there, so it's roughly that length, and a good close-up, adjusting the light. Very, very, very fine brushes, and I'm going to make sure to take very good care of these brushes to make them last as long as possible. Apparently this is a good brand. I'm not sure, of course, first time painter, so I'm going to give these a go. And I think I'll use this for the fine painting itself, and this will be for, say, I don't know, rough work and practicing and I don't know. But in any case, I've got two sets with various types of bristles and spread or brushing. Is that the right term? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Aside from that, also, I saw a video guide on how to make something called a wet pallet. This is the lid of a lunchbox, and here's the rest of the lunchbox, made in China, like everything else is nowadays. And here we have what is called a wet sponge cloth. When I took it out of the box, it feels a bit damp even now, having just come out of the packaging itself. Feels a bit cold. So I'm going to make on screen today, really quickly, a wet pallet, and we are going to at least get that sorted. But most of the focus of this video is going to be building some of the Space Marines and doing some fun stuff rather than just talking. So the idea was getting this sponge cloth thing. You put it into your lunchbox or other container devices, and try to get the crease to be as close to the edges as you can. So I'm going to fold this over just to see where we are. Yeah, that seems about right. So I want to cut off this small edge here. Let's give that a go. I'm going to do it very gently. Now if there's any kids watching, adult supervision, always advised, please. Be very, very careful when you're cutting things up. There we go. Let's make sure that this is in line a bit. And I didn't want to use a marker or a pen to mark it off, but there we go. Just a nice, smooth, long cut along that edge. Let's make sure it's lined up at the top as well, so we're not cutting it unevenly and askew. So I'm just going to cut it up along the edge there. Keep on going. Okay, so this segment can just be left to the side. That's just excess. And let's see how it fits into our lunchbox now. Far better, yes. And now let's do some rounding along the edges here to make sure that it fits perfectly, because we don't want ever for this piece to ever be doing a curve, because if that happens, the paints can, you know, have different level of water in them. So you definitely want to be making sure that one of the most important things was that it always stays flat at the base of the lunchbox or container, and it's never bending along the edges, curving upwards. So I'm just going to cut away the corners to be sure, making it into a sort of hexagonal shape. Cut away these triangle corners. Let's see, do it about so. Yeah, that comes away. Get this corner. Yep, and finally the last corner. In the future, when I get a little bit more money set aside, I do plan on getting an actual wet pallet. And for starters, this is the best sort of at-home solution. So I just went to a local store, bought a lunchbox, found a cleaning store, and came across these wet sponges. As you can see, it's really, really flat all the way along the bottom. And now, using some kitchen towel, which you should also try to cut up to be form-fitted to this. So let's have a look-see. We want to make sure that it gets to the edges, but then we're going to cut away the edges. Let's have a look. Roughly there, and then roughly here. So let's just fold this over a touch and take it out. I'm going to cut up this kitchen towel to be that shape in rectangularly, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, that seems about right. Now, I would mark this off with a pen, but obviously because it's going to be getting wet and there's going to be paint in this, you can't be doing that. So for the future, it's always good to measure out this sort of thing, the kitchen towel, Don't use any pens to mark off the edges, just fold it over and you're going to have to cut it up. So let's do that. Once again, going into the crease and just cutting along the crease there. Now, wet palettes are used because it keeps the paints wet for far longer. You can actually leave the paints in the container overnight and they'll still be usable the next day. It means that you save on cost, very importantly, and also, you know, you don't use up all your expensive paints. Especially if you've got Citadel paints, I think you'd appreciate keeping them around for longer, rather than worrying about, you know, them getting dry in the bottle themselves, etc. So let's have a look here. 1 second. Very good. Let's cut this off. Just along this top. And the last little bit there as well. Jogging the light a little bit. Honestly, if you guys saw the setup I've made, rigged this up, I've used so much duct tape to get this position on the camera. And honestly, I thought it was quite silly of me to be using the portrait sort of view of the camera. I was just thinking to myself, what if I just do it this way? So first time today, I changed the position on the table and set up the shot to be facing the wall, and here we are. So there we go, fits in there, I hope. Now this is actually going a little bit too much and it's curving, so I don't want it to be curving. I think that was very important. So let's lift this up, and we're just going to cut about 2 centimeters more off of this side and length along the edge there. Okay, there we go. Last little bit. Get rid of this. Put the scissors away. And now, in the future, I think I'm definitely going to make sure. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be curling upwards on the sides of the container. Right, so that's our wet palette. Just add water and then you can have your paints sorted, all of them ready to go. In the future, this is going to be really, really handy until I get myself an actual wet palette. And when you have your paints in there, they can, with the water and the sponge and the paper towel, they really stay for far longer, and you can just keep on coming back to your paint. And overnight, it's recommended that you leave the container ajar, so you don't completely shut it. Just leave it ajar, so there's some room for the air to get in and out. There's plenty of videos online describing how a wet palette works, and one of the guides that I would suggest to you is Squidmar's guide. If you give that a Google, a YouTube search, Squid, M-A-R, Squidmar. He's helped me out with lots of his guides, so definitely give that a watch. That's where I got the idea to make this lovely contraption. So this is ready to go. So when we get around to painting eventually, this is going to be really, really handy for us, and you know, all the rest. Right, rubbish can go in the bin. Let's put the scissors away. Now, let's have a look. See here. This can go as well. We want to get to some building finally. So let's get these pieces, put these aside. That's not really important. This is the base of the dreadnought. That's for later. Here's some bases of the guy. So let's take one of these out. And for today, I was planning on doing the bannerman of this squad, tactical marine squad. Let's get rid of that little piece. Let's take out one of these guys, bases. Okay. once again we've got another one base, but this is definitely far smaller than the base we had for our captain. As you can see, for scale, the circumference of the base is definitely smaller than the circumference for the one of the captain himself. So if we put it to scale, there's the captain. His base comes out about 4x4, give or take, 4x4 centimeters that is. And these bases for the rest of the squad comes out at roughly 3x3, just over 3, I would say. 3 and, if you were counting 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3.2 centimeters in circumference. So that's for scale, and if you want to put a 50p piece, I think this would be roughly exact. And with gloves on, this is a lot more fiddlier to do. And there's a 50p piece. It comes perfectly on top of the base almost. Yep. And that's the scale of the base that you have. The miniature fits perfectly on top of that. Some other coins for your Europeans out there, if any of you guys are watching. Of course you will be. So we've got a 20 cents piece, and it's just roughly half a centimeter bigger than a 20 cents euro piece, just so you know. But yeah, enough for coins and measurements. That's the base, that's all well and good. Let's put that aside, and let's have a look in the book. Here we are. Now I'm going to have a go at building this fella here, and in grey there he is. I had a good look through the guide, and you can choose how you want him to be essentially, and whether you want him to have a bolter pistol and a sword, or do you want him to have a different sort of weapon. But let's get to that in a minute. Some of the icons that you want to be looking out for in the guide, if that's at all interesting, is this icon with 2 cogs. Variant assembly. So you get to choose between having this option or that option. You may have seen that on the other works as well. And then if you've got another symbol here, which is 3 shields, choice of parts. That's also quite interesting. So you can really customize your army to fit what you want. So let's get started with the first page. Space Marine Sergeant. 1, 2, and 4, or 1 and 3 and 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. Yeah. So I think I'll probably go for this variant myself, because I want him to be kind of cool in the sense that he's got one arm with a pistol or something, and the other arm with a sword, possibly. I'm probably going to end up giving him the chainsaw blade that we saw on the sprue in the first video. So here we go. So this is page 2. If you give him the gun adaptation, you actually have a choice of 4 different guns you can attach. So the gun itself comes with a base underneath, and on top of that you can affix a flamethrower sort of thing. I believe those are plasma bolters. What looks like a machine gun with like a silencer on the end, even though why would you need a silencer in the old Space Marines 40k universe? Everything's massive. And then obviously we've got another sort of gun here. I don't know the names of all the guns at the moment, still learning, so, you know, whatever is whatever for now. I am, however, not going to go for this option for our bannerman, our standard bearer. I'm going to go for page 3, so we can choose between having a one-handed pistol and a sword, or one-handed pistol and a power fist. See, I do know that name. And then also we've got the option of having a one-handed pistol and him pointing, like he's doing on the box. If you want to have a close-up of the picture when he's completed, that's the bannerman. As you can see, he's standing and pointing away. So let's stick the box away. And as you can see above here, you can choose whether you want him to have a machine gun pistol, I believe that is, or a bolter pistol. You actually have 3 options there. And then in the other arm you can choose between having just him pointing, the power fist, the chainsaw blade, which I'm really keen on. Really want to give him this chainsaw blade. And then what looks like a scanner apparatus. An example of the scanner apparatus, I think, is actually somewhere in here I saw one of these gentlemen having a scanner in his hands. Oh, was it on the back of the box? There we go. Look at this fella, holding a gun up, and he's got a scanner in the other hand. Very useful. So, there we are. I knew I had seen it somewhere. Planning things out a little bit more. Let's see. So page 3, and we're going to need page 4 as well, or step 4. And there he is. So we've got an assortment of choices for the backpacks, the power packs at the back, and the flag can also have an assortment of choices on what we want to have on the top. Whether it's going to be the eagle, a skull with a star crown, or a skull with a sort of wreath around it. And I think finally we're obviously going to go for the chainsaw on the arm, either the bolter pistol or something else, and I'll probably go for the eagle on top for myself. So let's start building him, shall we? We'll leave this on page number 1. Leave the book over there. And let's take the captain out of the sprue. Let's have a look. See here. So this is the most of the backpacks, power packs, and the helmets. I really do like this head. Let's get that to focus. This head here. But the mohawk also looks very nice. Let's see if we can get a better shot of that with some light. So I think I'm choosing between the guy with the mohawk behind the fingernail or the guy with the sort of gas mask. Or what we could always do is give the standard bearer the mohawk, and the other 2 sergeants get to be these guys. I think that would probably be the best option. So we know we want to have this headpiece for our standard bearer, so let's take the 3rd from the left out. That's head number 36. Or should I should follow the steps according to the book, shouldn't I? It'll be a little bit better. Let's have a look. The book says you need piece number 22 and piece number 11. So let's get those 2 out. Let's have a look. Flipping it over, piece number 11 is somewhere around here. Oh, this whole row is 11, so you can pick any one. Let's just take the one from this side to start with. Let's get out our knife. I cannot wait to get an actual good hobby knife. Now again, children under the ages of 12, even if you are 12, definitely have some adults around for supervision, please. This is dangerous work with a knife, so be very careful and make sure you're using a cutting board, hobby board when you're cutting away. So let's just get this guy out of here. I hope this isn't shot. Yes, it is. Very good. So I'm just going to cut away in a direction so that the pressure goes sideways and goes to the edge of the sprue, not inwards towards there. So we're going to cut outwards. So I'm applying the pressure diagonally and away from the miniature model piece itself. That cut through very, very easily. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, and this time we're going to make the cutting diagonally this way and not go into the model but into the sprue. Okay, just very, very carefully. Oh, that cuts like butter. Very nice. There we go, first piece of the armor plating, and as you can see, it's got some extra flecks on the side which we're going to clean up. So let's do that. Just going to very gently cut away that. Oh, look at that, very good. Later on we're going to file this down, make it nice and smooth so that there's not any excess there. And all these little chunks, we're actually going to keep a hold of them to use them as debris on our bases. I think it's the best use for some of these pieces, all these extra little chunks. I'm going to keep a hold of them so we don't waste anything. Now, I will say, I hope the intro wasn't too long-winded, and if you're still here, thank you for bearing with me as we carry on. Right, so we've got piece number 11 sorted. The other piece we need is piece number 22, and that is the front breastplate. So this is piece number 21, and this is piece number 22. So let's take this one out. It's got a very, very nice sort of... I was researching armor for an arts project a few months ago, and one of the things that I found really interesting is the sort of chin guard sort of area. So as you can see on this piece here on the left behind my forefinger, this is just like a sort of cross breastplate, but this one actually has like a neck guard. There's actually a name for what that neck guard bit is. I think it's either called a gorget or something else, but it's something that you can find in most medieval armor pieces. Again, putting the pressure so that it goes away from the model itself and goes towards a sprue. I don't mind hitting the blade on this area. And then on this side, again, cutting downwards and away from the model, leaving some extra on the model itself. You can obviously always have extra on the sides, but if you cut into the model, then you know you're not going to be able to take that back. Oh, let's try to get some focus there. There we go. So now I'm just going to cut off these extra bits that I've got very gently. Can you peel those away? No, don't need to. So let's cut that. Ooh, look at that. Very, very, very clean cut. As you can see, that was what's left, and we can just very gently file that away to make it extra smooth. Okay, let's take the other side, cutting along the side of the breastplate there. This is not being as gentle. I don't want to be breaking the piece. There we go. I ended up digging quite deep into the mat there. And this piece actually managed to stay a little bit more on there, so I'm just going to just peel away a little bit more along the side, just scraping it away a touch. Now being very, very careful and very slow and patient with the cutting. No need to rush. Just take it very, very slowly. Obviously, don't cut the way I cut. I've had practice with using knives, and that's Mrs. Proxy sneezing away there. Bless you. Golly. Right. So let's cut this away a bit more, peeling away at it. But yes, I was saying I've had practice with cutting knives and things like that in the past, doing other projects for arts back in high school. So I have a little bit more practice with this. That's why I take it very, very slowly. And if you're at home cutting yourselves, obviously be very, very careful. Use a cutting mat and adult supervision, please. So we've got the two pieces there. Let's have a look, see. Let's see how they fit, dry fit. We've got this sort of area here. Oh, very well. Look at that. And the top of it's got this sort of indent so that the head can be placed in there. He's got his chin guard, chest guard, gorget sort of thing. Fits very, very well. From the side it seems to fit quite well as well. And this is where the hips would be affixed later on. So we've got the upper body sorted. Let's put the upper body next to our captain. as his second in command is being made up. For scale, I'll just put it on top of a 20p piece. Very, very small pieces, so both of the pieces can fit on top of a 20p piece quite easily. Now, I am getting quite thirsty, so I'm going to have a bit of a drink, some juice. Ah, yes. Now, for the sergeant, I think generally speaking, all the leg pieces are mostly the same. But because I haven't got much of a reference, I think I'm going to try to keep the same sort of leg that we have on the box picture there. And I think from the box picture, the pose for his legs is this one, number 8. Because it's got a seal on the left hand side that you can see there, just near my pinky finger. So I'm going to take number 8 out of the sprue, and let's put that together. Got our trusty tweezers. Let's put this sprue here. This is an old sprue for the captain, still keeping it in the box. And let's see, legs. Excuse me, breathing all over you guys. Right, all the leg options. 8 is here. So let's have a look. And there we go. It's the same legs with the seal on the left ankle there, or at left shin guard, I guess you could say. Right, let's get this bad boy out. Now, let's, I think it's probably safest if we put it this way and we cut from this side. Number 8, number 9, number 8, we want this one. So let's get our hobby knife. And we are again going to cut in a direction so that it's towards the sprue and not towards the model piece itself. Now, I honestly cannot wait till I get some cutting clippers. This is a lot harder than I anticipated. That went through quite easily at the end there. Yeah, but with cutting clippers, I imagine this will be far easier. There we go. Get that through. And I'm making sure that I cut quite a few millimeters away from the model itself. I'm cutting into the sprue so that I preserve the shape of the model far better. There we go. And we are through. He flicked over and landed here. There we go. Gap number 8. Let's put this back. We don't need that anymore for now. I don't think so. Well, yeah, for now I think we just needed that piece from the legs. And as you can see, he's still got like the little bits of the sprue attached to him, so let's tidy it up and file that down. Let's have a look, see. So let's cut off the segment at the hip. I hope this is an okay view for you guys to be able to see it. Ooh. Very, very nice. Smooth cut along the top. No excess. And no damage to the model itself. If we look at this little piece that fell off, I did not take anything from the hip itself. It's really not visible. It's not even focusing on it because it's such a small piece. But yeah, a very nice clean cut. And let's do this for the shoes and the feet. Okay. Can I just peel this off? No. Let's do a cut. Right, getting a knife. I'm going to put it like this. So I've got his right leg facing down. I want to make sure I do a cut in this way, this motion. Ooh, that was very easy. Slid through like butter. Let's have a look at this angle. Is that completely flat? Seems to have a little bit that comes off of here. Let me just get a better grip on this. I hope I'm not practicing any incorrect ways of cutting things. Okay, that seems to be pretty good. Very, very flat along the foot there. Let's get this one off. I think I am going to put this down and cut downwards to give myself the cleanest cut possible. That did not get through. Let's try again. I cannot wait for some clippers and some better, longer knife. This is the best one I could come up with for now. I do have some other cutting knives there. I may practice with the bigger ones, but I figured a smaller blade means a little bit more patience and accuracy. So let's peel away a little bit more of this. Seems pretty smooth there at that angle. So this foot is also ready. I mean, no one's going to see this side of the foot because it's going to be affixed to the base, so we should be okay. Right, that's good to go, I'd say. So there we are, the legs. Let's have a good look. I'm going to clean up some of these mold lines here. Let's see. Some of the things that they said was scraping is better, and just to gently get rid of them. But I'm not so sure. I did practice with the captain when I was cutting away some of his mold lines. So most of the mold lines, obviously, they come from the sprue itself, because obviously everything is made in a male and female mold. And if you guys wanted to have a quick Google of what male mold and female mold is, I would recommend that, just to understand how some of these things are made. Okay, that seems pretty good. I do wish I had some sanding paper as well. That's another thing that I had ordered, but it hadn't arrived. Along with some blue tack and what's it called? Green stuff. Green stuff is similar to blue tack, but it's mostly used in making molds and specific shapes. So let's clean this up. Now this is the hip area per se, but the hip area itself isn't going to be on display. But let's just peel away some of these mold lines like that. Here we go on the other side. Okay. I've just realised that my music is once again stopped. YouTube is very frustrating when it comes to playlist. It constantly asks you, are you still watching? Continue playing. It's just like, yes. I'm sure there's a setting somewhere where I can just be like, never show me the error warning again, and just play the damn videos and playlist constantly. Let's have a look here. I just wanted the playlist. Infinite play. Let's go back to this one. Once again, I'm just listening to the playlist by Geographer, and this particular song is called Slip. Oh no, this one's called Bright Ideas. One of my favourite ones by Geographer is called Slip. Just gonna shave on the inside of the shins. Get rid of some of those mold lines. It's very hard to do oh, that was off camera. It's very hard to do the inside of the legs. Not sure if that's completely necessary, but with a small blade, it's not that bad. with a small blade, it's far more easier to reach the inside of the legs there to get rid of some more of those mold lines. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can get some more of these off by just scraping along the line, smoothing it out a touch more so that it stays. That seems okay. Right. Oops. Right, this one can stay there. Very happy with the legs. Now, let's get the rest of the pieces out, and then we're going to come back to making the glued sections all together in one. So furthermore, let's see, we've got piece number 11, 22, we've got that out, and that's the chest pieces. We've got legs, which we chose as number 8, and now we get to choose between sort of loincloth tabard. Those are 111 and 112. So let's see where those end up being. There we are, found them. Okay. I'm just going to move these guys back into the box. Make sure they're not in the way. And the pieces that we need are these two here. Now, you actually have a choice between two particular types of tabards or loincloth. This one here, in front of my forefinger, has a eagle motif and 2 seals on it. And I think I want that one more so than this one. The other option that we have here is a skull with a sort of a wreath sort of thing. Well, you can paint it all gold and it will look very good, but I like the idea of having the eagle and the 2 seals, the prayers seals as they're called. So let's cut this one out for myself. You know, eventually I'm going to try to see if I'm going to make a video where step by step you guys as the community that I'm hoping to build up will be able to choose from beginning to end how we're going to build an army, and I will go through it beginning to end, and we'll vote on it using some polls so we can choose how we want our army to turn out. There we go, there's this piece. And now that I think about it, there's the power fist, but the sword is not here. So let's just put this one aside for now. Okay, there we go. Now I want to get a good look at this, so I'm sorry if this doesn't come quite into shot on the camera, because I need to get quite close to it to be able to get a good view of it. You can just see me working away there. I think I need to get it a little bit closer from even my eyes. What? The music keeps on cutting out. Alright, very gently now. I'm just going to cut this way. How does it look in the picture? Well, there's some experts cutting for them, isn't there? So I think the best way to cut would be like so, but I need to put it against the cutting board to get that piece off. So excuse me if you guys can't see this. I'm just going to cut away from the tabard. Yes, and we are free. There's obviously a little bit of a pip there, which we're just going to cut away at gently. It's very, very fiddly work. Definitely have to have a lot more patience for it. Let's get our tweezers. I'm going to use our tweezers to give myself a little bit better grip. Sorry for jogging the camera there. And then just hold it like that, give myself some better grip. And we need to cut away this little piece. Mrs. Proxy is currently playing a game and she seems to be winning. I don't know what she's playing. Let's have a look. She's playing... Oh, she's playing Diablo. She seems to be having a lot of fun in the background. And I'm not having too much success with this because it's such a small piece. Let's try a different angle to cut at. I'm sorry if you guys aren't seeing this very well, but I do want to make sure that I cut the piece to make it look good. And unfortunately that means not being able to get an angled shot where you guys can see it very well. I might just have to do some filing instead. So that I don't butcher this piece entirely. Yeah, let's not damage it any further. Not that I damaged it that much per se, but yeah. It's kind of frustrating that they've actually got the mold attached this side. I mean, couldn't they have done something to have it attached on the back side where there's not going to be any paint? Because this side's obviously the scrolls and the written text. And this side is facing paint, where people are going to be painting. It's very, very fiddly work, that's for sure. Okay, that seems to be going pretty well. I'm definitely going to need to file these pieces down because these do look a very well, let's get that into focus. Let's have a look. That's the seal, and you can see it's a little bit rough because it's such a small piece and it's very hard to hold. And even if I didn't have white hands like this, it would be difficult to hold. And even with the oh, I think the camera stopped there for a second. Even with the tweezers, I could not get a good grip on them. So let's put this aside. Next we have the tabard sorted. All of that gets us attached in a minute, and now we get to choose if we want it to be. I think we're going to go with step 3 instead of step 2. So step 3, page 3 is this option, this variant. So we're going to skip page 2. I'm going to go to page 3, and we get to choose between having a one of these pistols, which I believe is called a bolter pistol. I believe this is called, maybe we have the information in the back. Let's see, that's the wrong language, for me anyways. English, yes, no, this is some other language. Obviously, this is translated in many languages, but we need it in English for myself. Let's have a look. So he has a choice between a bolt pistol, a grab pistol, plasma pistol, standard and overcharged. That depends on which kind of shot you want to take. A chainsword, a power fist, and a power sword. Obviously, when it comes to a power fist, I find that really interesting, and I'm definitely going to try out making some guys with power fists. But for now, I'm definitely going for the chainsword. each time the bearer fights, it can make one additional attack with this weapon. Sounds interesting. I mean, I'm going for it anyway, so... In the left hand, we can go for a bolt pistol. Bolt pistol, grav pistol, or plasma pistol. I believe this is the plasma pistol as 94. This is probably the, what was the second option? I've forgotten already. Grav pistol. And finally we've got the bolter pistol. Myself, I'm very keen on the bolter pistol with the bullet hanging from the handle of the weapon. So I'm going to go for option number 92 for myself. And we need arm option 56. So let's get that out on this side. So we need 92, 56 for the left arm. And on this side we're going for the chainsword. So we need piece number 62 and 58. So let's get the arms first. Let's see what we got here. Ta-da! Let's flip this over. Wrong side. 56. 57, 58, 66. That does not help. These pieces may end up being on another sprue entirely. I cannot see 56 anywhere in here, but I think I spotted the pistol a second ago and I've lost sight of it already. Oh, there we go. So we've got 56 here. 56 looks like a very bent angle. Is that 56? Okay, so this is 56 in the corner. I was just comparing it with the picture in the box. So this one here in the corner behind, in front of my finger is 56. So we need this one in the corner, and we need also 92, which is here with the bullet. You can see that hanging off in front of my pinky finger. So we need these two pieces, and we also need arm number 58 and the chainsword. I don't think 58 is there. The chainsword definitely is not. And those are probably together, so let's just check out the other pieces. Let's move him, the legs and the tabard over. Let's put these little flecks over here. Those aren't very interesting, but we can always use those as gravel in the basing. Okay. Right. I do find these nunchucks very interesting. These have two skulls on the bottom. Right. Well, we found the chainsword. That wasn't very hard to spot. But let's leave that there for a moment. Let's look for the arm. That is arm number 58. And is this it? No, that's an arm that supports a rocket launcher. You know, I don't think any of it's here. But we do have the standard and the motif on top of the standard. The standard bearer, and it's called a standard banner. Announcing things properly. Right. None of this seems to be that. So, are we out of sprues? Surely not. Maybe I'm blind and I didn't see it. It must be in here. 11 was the chest piece, so that's fine. That's our sword. You know, since we know where the sword is, let's just take that out, okay? Because the video is coming up to being 4 minutes past an hour, and if you guys have been here all that time, yeah, it's quite a long time for you guys to bear with me, so thank you very much for doing that if you did. So, let's cut this way. So I'm going to cut the sword out. I'm going to take some distance away from the main mold that we're going to end up using. and cutting in a direction that is away from the model. Very good. Okay. Let's stick this aside. We definitely need this, but we need to find that arm. Kind of frustrating. Oh, there it is. 58. Found it. There we are. Just in front of my finger. So 58 is here. Let's get this bad boy out. Very frustrating finding that one. We needed 58. We've got 56. 56 was here somewhere. Have I already forgotten? I have forgotten where it was. Oh gosh, 56. 58. Let's just get 58 out before I forget it again. Okay. Very good. Making sure our knife only cuts onto the sprue itself. Let's cut here as well. Oh, this side just cut like butter. That was just insanely easy. Okay, so this is the arm we're using. Arm number 58 in this option. You can actually see... Okay, let's have a look. Just going to cut away some of the excess that's on this wrist here. I think I'm definitely going to have to cut in a way that I use a lot more force. I'm just cutting away, peeling away some more of this mold lines here, make it smooth so that when the hand needs to go on, it's very smooth. We're going to do some more cleaning up, but let's get all the pieces out of the mold for today. Because I wanted to speak about future projects that I'm going to be doing, I took longer than I wanted at the beginning of this video, so sorry that was dragged on a little bit. But I'm going to, for today, I think I'm going to cut out these pieces, and I'll probably tidy up the mold lines off camera, because I don't think you guys find that as interesting. But when it comes to gluing all the pieces together, putting the shoulder pads on and everything, that's definitely something that I'll do so that you guys get to see that. I don't want you guys to miss out on it. So we've got 58 and we needed 56, and my gosh, I'm definitely annoyed that I lost it. 56 was in this corner, of course. There we are, behind this finger. So let's get that bad boy out. This way, this way. This way is probably best. I'm just going to put my my little stick away so it's not in the way. So we want to cut this one off. There we go. And then we definitely want to be cutting it away. So we're cutting away from the model. Always very important. Do not want to damage the mold and the model when it's coming out the sprue. This is the other arm. So let's get these extra chunks off of that. There we go. Fiddly stuff this. And let's get that piece off the wrist. There we go. That was far easier to cut the second time than it was the first time. Right, let's use our tweezers to get a really good grip on this section here. I just want to cut along the surface of the wrist here, just to peel away a bit of this white. There we go. I think I got most of the... Oop. I just dropped the piece on the floor, bugger. Well, I'll have to go have a look for that, won't I? Ah, there it is. Be right back, guys. I'm probably trying to edit this out. Let's have a glass of water to drink as well. Okay, let's carry on. So, found the piece on the floor. Shouldn't drop it too often. So the wrist side is really good. The elbow, definitely do some cleaning up here. I should try to remember to keep talking, shouldn't I? Right, well, the elbow's quite clean there. So those are both the arms. And now let's get the bolter pistol out. And I think we'll round off the video there once the bolter pistol has been taken out of the sprue. And here it was, up here. So we've got the chainsword, which also needs a bit of cleaning up. This would probably be the safest way. Move the tweezers out of the way. I'm going to cut very gently, carefully. Ooh, that was very nice. And again this side. Ooh, look at that, came away so easy. And I believe we have the bolter pistol with the bullet. Let's try to get that into focus. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's a slight hole between the bullet. You can just see the white of the glove. Let's bring the light with this. Just a hole where you can see through to the background and the foreground. Right, let's get these pieces off. Very gently. I can't apply pressure that way enough. So let's put it down. I'm going to put a finger on it. And then I'm going to cut along the front of the pistol. Very good. And then let's cut along the muzzle of the pistol. There we go. There we are. There we go. Nice, tidy and clean. And the other piece was on the top here. So let's try to tidy this top side up. You guys can see that, right? Just going to cut along the top of there. Very gently peeling away at the excess mold lines. Now, obviously, everywhere you go on this model, there are mold lines along this horizontal of the mold pieces. So I'm going to tidy that up off of camera tomorrow and get rid of all these mold lines that you can possibly you can see. Let's see. Does that come into focus? Let's move the camera with this and that little light with us. So you can just see that mold line in between there, and I'll try to see if I can tidy that up. Otherwise, what else have we got? The legs we cleaned up, and the chainsawed. There we are. So let's have this be the last piece that we cut up today and tidy up before we call it a night. And once again, I want to thank you guys for watching all the way through. This is a fun little adventure I'm setting off on, and if you did watch every single minute of this little video, genuinely, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate it immeasurably. I don't think I can get good traction this way, so I'm going to put it down again, placing my finger on it. What's on this side? The chainsaw has an exhaust. This triangular indent, there's an exhaust. And I think this is, you rev it up as well. Of course a chainsaw has an exhaust. But if we put it this way, I just need to cut along the long top side of the chainsaw, fiddly thing. So yeah, genuinely, with all the gratitude I can muster, gentlemen and ladies, I thank you for watching. I wish you a very, very pleasant night, and I hope to see you very soon in the next video. Just going to tidy this up touch. We'll file that away. It's a flat top. Let's get this piece off the hand. I don't think that was a smart way of cutting it. Okay, there we go. The hand is nice and flat along the top, and the sword is flat as well. Right, that'll be everything. Thank you for watching. Peace.